Singapore is one of the safest, richest, and most powerful hubs in Asia. A country where rules are strict, order is sacred, and borders are tightly controlled. But behind the shining skyscrapers and spotless streets lies a shocking truth. There are entire nations whose citizens are no longer welcome in Singapore. And the reasons range from crime and terrorism, to politics and diplomacy, to fraud and illegal immigration. In this video, we'll uncover the 10 countries Singapore doesn't want inside its borders. And trust me, you won't believe who made it on the list. Stay tuned, because number 3 will shock you the most. First on the list is Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation, and a country with deep economic ambitions. In recent years, relations between Nigeria and Singapore have been strained by concerns over security and migration. Singaporean authorities cite high rates of visa fraud, often linked to organized crime syndicates operating internationally. In one high-profile case, a group was caught using fake documents to enter Singapore, sparking headlines and tighter controls. Online scams and financial fraud involving Nigerian nationals have raised red flags, leading to increased scrutiny at the border. But it's not just crime. Ordinary Nigerians seeking work or education in Singapore often face long delays or outright rejection. Many feel unfairly targeted, despite having no links to criminal activity. Families are separated, and business opportunities are lost. In response, Nigerian authorities have launched campaigns to educate citizens about legal migration and crack down on fraud. There are also positive stories. Nigerian professionals and students who contribute to Singaporean society, proving that trust can be rebuilt. Still, for now, Nigeria remains one of the most restricted countries for entry into Singapore, as authorities continue to prioritize security. For decades, Bangladeshi workers have played a vital role in building Singapore's skyline. Since the 1980s, thousands have arrived each year, seeking better wages and opportunities. Most found work in construction, shipyards, and cleaning services, jobs that are essential, but often go unnoticed by the public. While many migrants followed legal channels, some overstayed short-term visit passes or worked illegally, hoping to send money home. In recent years, Singaporean authorities have tightened immigration rules, citing cases of document abuse and illegal employment. Security incidents involving radicalized individuals from Bangladesh have also raised concerns, leading to more background checks and lower approval rates. The government has stated that these measures are necessary to protect national security, but critics argue they unfairly target vulnerable workers. Today, Bangladeshi migrants still contribute to Singapore's growth, but face stricter entry checks and reduced approval rates. The story of Bangladesh and Singapore is one of opportunity, challenge, and ongoing debate, a reminder of how migration shapes nations. Pakistan citizens now face some of the strictest scrutiny when applying for Singapore visas. This is due to a complex mix of security concerns, historical incidents, and evolving diplomatic relations. In the past, several high-profile security incidents and links to extremist groups have led Singapore to tighten its vetting procedures for Pakistani nationals. Notable cases have made headlines, fueling public debate and policy changes. Diplomatic relations between the two countries remain limited, with few formal agreements to streamline travel or information sharing. This lack of cooperation often results in slow processing times and frequent rejections. Pakistani visitors frequently face lengthy interviews, additional background checks, and sometimes outright denials. Despite occasional diplomatic efforts to improve the situation, Singapore's cautious approach remains unchanged. But Pakistan isn't the only nation under this radar. A country infamous for dictatorship and sanctions has it even worse. Singapore once made headlines by hosting the historic Trump-Kim summit in 2018, a rare moment of diplomacy between North Korea and the world. Despite this, relations quickly cooled. Today, North Korea is almost entirely blacklisted from entering Singapore. The closure of North Korea's embassy in Singapore marked the end of official ties, making travel and communication nearly impossible. Strict enforcement of United Nations sanctions halted trade, banking, and most forms of travel between the two countries. Only rare exceptions are made, such as for humanitarian aid or international negotiations, but even these are tightly controlled. Most North Korean delegates are rejected due to concerns over illegal finance and smuggling. While North Korea's isolation is nearly total, the next country faces its own struggles from chaos and conflict at home. Yemen has endured a devastating civil war for nearly a decade, leaving millions displaced and its infrastructure in ruins. The ongoing conflict has triggered one of the world's worst humanitarian crises, with families forced to flee their homes and basic services collapsing. Refugee camps have sprung up across the region, filled with Yemenis seeking safety and aid. International organizations struggle to deliver food, water, and medical supplies to those in need. For Singapore, these conditions make it extremely difficult to verify the authenticity of Yemeni passports or conduct reliable background checks. Authorities fear that instability could allow terrorist infiltration or identity fraud. As a result, Singapore's official policy is to deny entry to most Yemeni nationals, citing national security and the inability to confirm travelers' identities. While some humanitarian exceptions exist, rejections are the norm. Aid groups have called for compassion, but Singapore maintains that safety comes first. For over a decade, Syria has been torn apart by a brutal civil war. Once bustling cities like Aleppo and Damascus now bear scars of relentless conflict. The collapse of government institutions has left millions without basic services and made criminal and identity checks nearly impossible. Waves of refugees have fled the violence, seeking safety across borders. Their journeys are filled with hardship and uncertainty. International aid groups try to help, but Singapore remains cautious. Fears of extremist infiltration and unreliable documentation mean Syrian nationals face some of the strictest visa barriers in the world. For most Syrians, entry into Singapore is nearly impossible. But beyond war, some countries are blocked because of political instability and coups like the next one. Next on Singapore's restricted list are Afghanistan and Myanmar, two countries marked by recent upheaval and ongoing instability. In Afghanistan, the 2021 Taliban takeover led to a collapse of government services and a surge in refugees seeking safety abroad. Singapore responded by tightening visa checks for Afghan nationals, citing concerns over document authenticity and potential extremist infiltration. Meanwhile, Myanmar's 2021 military coup triggered mass protests, violence, and a wave of people fleeing the country. Singaporean authorities increased scrutiny of Myanmar nationals, with stricter background checks and more frequent visa denials. For both countries, the result is slower approvals, higher rejection rates, and limited opportunities for those seeking safety or a new start in Singapore. While Afghanistan and Myanmar struggle with instability, the next country faces restrictions due to global sanctions and mistrust. Iranian nationals often encounter strict visa denials when trying to enter Singapore, despite a long history of cultural and business exchanges between the two countries. Global sanctions on Iran have made Singaporean authorities extra cautious, especially regarding financial transactions and business ties. Diplomatic tensions and limited embassy services have weakened trust, making it difficult for Iranians to prove their intent or secure travel documents. Many Iranians share stories of rejected visas, missed family reunions, or lost business opportunities. Yet, in rare cases, exceptions are made for students, medical emergencies, or diplomatic visits, signs that dialogue continues, even if relations remain tense. Still, Iranians face one of the highest refusal rates at Singaporean borders. And yet, none of these restrictions caused as much controversy as the next country, a nation with deep cultural and business ties to Singapore. India and Singapore share deep historical and cultural ties, with over 500,000 people of Indian origin calling Singapore home. The Indian community is woven into the city's fabric, from Little India's vibrant streets to the boardrooms of major companies. Yet, during the global health crisis, Singapore imposed strict travel bans and visa pauses on Indian nationals. Families were separated for months, and students and workers faced uncertainty as flights were cancelled and borders closed. The Singapore government stated these measures were necessary to protect public health. However, new rules made employment passes harder to obtain, sparking debates about discrimination and fairness in the workplace. Many Indian professionals and families felt targeted by sudden policy changes. Stories emerged of parents unable to reunite with children, and workers losing job offers overnight. But India isn't the only surprise. The final country on this list shows just how far Singapore will go to protect its borders, even when it means tough choices for close partners. Singapore's strict immigration rules may look harsh, but they are also the reason the nation is one of the safest and wealthiest countries in the world. By shutting out nations linked to crime, war, or instability, Singapore ensures its borders remain secure. But critics argue that these restrictions unfairly punish innocent travelers, limiting opportunities for work, tourism, and education. So what do you think? Is Singapore protecting its borders wisely, or closing itself off too much from the world? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell. Thank you for watching.